This is Dabu7. The situation here globally with food is getting worse by the day. Some people ignoring the situation, but those that see what's coming are getting plans together and making moves quickly. As the price of things continue to go up, as inflation continues to kill the dollar, that is what is affecting Americans, but globally. Every person out there that's trying to get their hands on some food is finding it more difficult than the years or even weeks past. They're now saying that we're heading toward a famine here of large proportions, and it looks like, by all means, this is going to be staged and engineered because they got money for war, but not to feed the poor. Period. Without any excuses. Doesn't matter who it is. Any 1%er out there doesn't want to help the poor, there's no excuse. Doesn't matter how much you're in love with them, how much you like them and their image. Actions speak louder than words. And we have a senator that just stepped up and says we've never seen anything like this, that we are facing an imminent famine. So the U.S. senator admitting that we are heading into the direction of a large-scale famine that is being engineered 100%. So there's no one else to blame but the politicians and those that people have allowed to control things, unless you want to take the power back and do something about them. You see, hopefully at some point, hopefully this summer, we see people spring into action and rise. We need some kind of movement in this country to take the freedom and the power back, or they're going to wash it all away. Matter of fact, that is the plan, by design, and it's hidden in the open. Actually, books written on it and everything else. If people just took the time to find it, it's right there. So what's coming around the corner is all by design. And make sure to join me for the live streams where I talk about things like this censorship-free in more detail. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. You'll find links below. Hit that subscribe button for more, and make sure to check that bell notification as well so you're getting alerted for all my videos. Much love, y'all.
Not only did I almost lose my house, but my wife threatened to leave me with our children.
This is Dabu7. We've been talking about the supply chain. We've been talking about food shortages. But it looks like they're ratcheting this whole thing up a bit, and it's all by design and going ahead as planned. We're looking here at the Chinese economy as well, seeing it grinding to a halt as they're shutting everything down in this new wave. And their ports just got boats just anchored all over the place with goods sitting on them or just sitting at the docks, not getting shipped out. This in turn is affecting the world. So that seems to be orchestrated fully by the government there out of China. And then we see a lot of blame being pitched on everything that's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and that causing supply chain issues. Then throw in on top of it inflation and everything else that's been going on, stacked on top of our own supply chain issues that were sparked here on the West Coast. This all ties into someone's big agenda out of the WEF. You know, someone called Klaus Schwab, him and his buddies, and all the goons that go back to their website that track back to be a member of this big global thing that is formed. That's right, when you've got people from all these other countries joining this big club, I think you should pay attention. Now, they like to telegraph things. They like to hide it in movies. They like to put it right out there so you know in advance that it's going to happen. It's almost like it's part of the rules to the game. And in this instance, they're telegraphing within 6 months, by the end of the summer, food shortages en masse. I've talked about this and the reasons for this without just saying, hey, it's going to happen. We've looked at a lot of different issues, from the weather to fertilizer, things like that have stifled anything that we're going to grow here in America this year. The snowpack out there at Jackson Station, which is normally over 60 inches, was 2 inches. People got hell in a handbasket coming because they're turning a cheek to all this. This is real deal. I've also got my hands on some key information that I'm going to be covering exclusively tonight on the live stream. Information that dates back years ago that shows that they knew all of this in advance, and they actually have in this simulation that in the year 2022, this whole food shortage thing kicks off. It's right there years ago in the simulation. I'm going to cover that tonight on the live stream. Make sure to join me. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. You'll find links below to DLive and Patriot TV. Hit that subscribe button and that bell notification to make sure you're getting alerted for all my videos. They like to censor me. It's been Dapu7. Much love.
Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel brothers, and let the standard of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, where we may be. It's the Akim Mahaloya coming back with another lesson. Lord, would be edifying real quick. More information on the food shortages. As we know that a lot of these processing plants have miraculously been destroyed, fire driven, caught on fire, or plane is just ironically crashing into these processing plants, which is responsible for processing the food and distributing to the particular stores. Last year and the year before last, you had the global infrastructure that came to a halt because allegedly, due to everything that was happening with this whole, the ships and so forth was stuck out on the ports and they weren't allowed to be transported in. So therefore causing a price and inflation, which all these things were systematically designed. Okay, what they're doing is deliberately halting the food production so they can collapse the dollar, so they can bring in a digital oil, so to speak. And we all know what that is, aka the MOTB. All right, so that's what's going on here in the world. And we've been trying to warn Jake through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shimi Hawashai that, look, man, all hell is getting ready to break loose, man. And you Israelites out there that's playing games, you're not teaching or going into the prophecies or the prophetic scriptures, the Most High is going to do away with you, man. All right. So with that being said, it says food shortages in 6 months. Globalists are telling us what happens next because they're not even hiding this anymore. Okay. It's to the point that this NWO, this whole regime, they're not hiding it. Okay. And it's blatantly obvious why you average peons here in Babylon, you're all into your lives. You're all into your next meal, what you're going to do for 2023. You have all these New Year resolutions, but you're not looking at the fact that things are being disrupted and that the lives that you want to live are going to be changed dramatically forever, man. Okay, so, hey, call halal Yahweh by Shemi Hawashai. We're seeing the fall of this man's kingdom play out in real time. The things that the prophets prophesied about thousands of years ago, jumping off the pages of the Bible, man. And hey, we could say that, look, we told you so. But nonetheless, it says globalists are telling us what's happening next. So it says in mid-2007, a bank for international settlements, the Central Bank of Central Banks, released a statement predicting the impending Great Depression caused by a credit market implosion. It says the same year, the International Monetary Fund also published warnings of subprime woes leading to a wider economic strife, which goes back to 2007 and 8. Okay, they even predicted that the bubble bursting and the fact that they bailed these banks out was going to cause a catastrophic event 10 times as worse in a few years to come. And it looked like we're upon that point. But it says here, I started writing alternative economic analysis only a year earlier in 2006, and I immediately thought it was strange that these massive globalist institutions with far-reaching influence on the financial world was suddenly starting to make a lot of those of us in the liberty movement. It says this was 16 years ago, and so many people reading this might not even remember, but in the 2007, the alternate media had already been warning about impending deflationary crash in U.S. markets and housing for some time. Yep, and this is the reason why the price of housing is going up. They say it's a buyer's market, but yet equity and properties are being depleted, man. So if you own a house, man, and you sell it, I mean, you could make some money, but it's not really a benefactor for new buyers. Why? Because, hey, the bubbles are bursting. Okay, you have what they call a bear market. But it says here, it says U.S. markets and housing for some time, but not surprisingly, the mainstream media has always been there to deny all of our concerns is doom mongering and conspiracy theory. But less than a year later, first companies awash the derivatives began to announce that they were on the verge of bankruptcy and everything tanked, right? From Marcus, the Lehman Brothers, Deutsche Bank, etc. And the list goes on, man. Okay. It says the media responds, they've made two very bizarre claims simultaneously. No one could have seen it coming, and we saw this coming a mile away. Okay. And this is the same thing that's happening with the food shortages, man. Okay. Because like he said in this article, they're pretty much writing us off as being disinformation. The reason why certain companies or certain government parenting companies are springing up to try to do away with what we're saying, because now they're being exposed, man. Okay, the fact that we're bringing out the food shortage, the economic collapse, the WAP or the juice. Okay, we're bringing out the fact that the MOTB is the the MOTB isn't what it is. You know, we're exposing the whole face diaper thing. We're exposing all this stuff. So therefore, now they have to come out and put a war on quote unquote disinformation, which what we're bringing out is not disinformation. It's very informative, and they know that. All right. So it says here, let's look specifically at the food shortage problem in detail. It says a week ago, there was a torrent of press releases from global institutions, all mentioning the same concern. Food shortages within the next 3 to 6 months. And you notice they made this mainstream media, but they're not telling you what's happening. OK, they're not telling you that they're fabricating certain viruses, OK, by killing off 30 to 60 million chickens, man. Talking about, oh, they're sustaining this virus, that virus. So therefore, we got to do away with them for the sake of humanity. But the reason why they're euthanizing all these goods and seeds and destroying these factories is because they're trying to bring in the food shortage. They want things to go up, and they want people begging for the NWO. OK, and this is what we've been trying to tell Jake. OK, but they look at us like we're crazy. But yet this is right here. OK, this is more credible than NBC, MSNBC, MSN Money, CNN, Fox 32, Channel 5 News. They're not covering this shit. OK, but the men of the Lord, we're covering this. This is why Yahweh Shai say watch and therefore pray, man. OK, because, hey, we're watching. Set up watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which should never hold their peace. OK, but it says here, food shortages within the next 3 to 6 months. These statements line up very closely with my own estimates, as I've been warning regularly about the impending dangers of inflation leading to food rationing and supply chain disruptions. Okay, it says the IMF, the BIS, the World Bank, the UN, the Rockefeller Foundation, the World Economic Forum, Bank of America, and even Biden himself are all predicting major food crisis in the near term. And it's not a coincidence that the policies of these very institutions and the actions of puppet politicians that work for them are causing the crisis they are now predicting. Exactly. It says, this is to say it's easy to predict a disaster when you create the disaster. Yep. And that's absolutely right, man. And this is a very long article. I'm not going to by far read all this, but I will post it in the description for those of you brothers that care to read it. You can read it. But this is the book of Joel. And I saw the elder Yashawamba post the scripture, man, and it gave me inspiration to use it, because we're using the scripture say we speak through the similitude of the ministry of the prophet. So oftentimes we bring out the same facts, but, you know, it makes sense because we're all reporting on the same things. Therefore, there's no excuse to say why you didn't get it. All right. So this is the book of Joel 1, and I'm going to start at verses 2. It says, hear this, ye old men, and give ear, all ye inhabitants of the land. It says, have this been in your days, or even in the days of your fathers? Okay. But tell ye the children of it, and let your children tell their children, and their children another generation, that which the palmer worm have left the locust eating. Okay. And it says, in which the locusts have left the cankerworm have eating, and that which the cankerworm have left the caterpillar eating. And awake ye drunkards, and weep and howl, and all ye that drink wine because of the new wine, for it is cut from your mouth, it is cut off from your mouth. Right. The new wine is this new age shit. Okay, this whole new alphabet agenda. The fact that 5-6-year-old kids can become as they please. They can change their whole anatomy structure based on what Esau is promoting in these institutions, man. Okay, the old world is done. This is the new world here. This is what it is. And then the good show to watch is South Park Post C19. They bring it out in that shit, man. It's 2 parts to it. You know, if you brothers got Paramount, it's on South Park Post C19. Is when they become adults and shit. They had to go back into the past to try to change everything. But it was pretty funny. But they hint at a lot of shit that's going on. It says, for a nation has come up upon my land, stronger without number, whose teeth are the teeth of a lion, and have the cheek of the teeth of the great lion, and have laid my vine waste, and barked my fig tree, and ye have made it clean bare, and cast it away, and the branches thereof are made white. So lament like a virgin, and girded with sackcloth for the husband of our youth. And the meat offering and the drink offering is cut off from the house of the Lord, and the priests and the Lord's ministers do mourn, right? Because, hey, we're not able to really fully indulge in our heritage, man, because, hey, we were taken down by Esau, all right? It says, but be ashamed. Matter of fact, it says, the field is wasted and the land mourneth, for the corn is wasted and the new wine is dried up and the oil languished, man, okay? And this is what's happening. The food supply chains are being disrupted, okay? It says, be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen, how, O ye vine dressers, okay? You farmers, man, you farmers, because farmers are being pretty much all, it was to the point back in 2019, farmers were committing suicide, okay? Because they told them, the government came in and said, well, look, you got to use this particular GMO seed, or we just going to take everything, we're going to destroy everything, we're going to lock you up. So a lot of farmers, man, especially dairy farmers, man, they were committing suicide at a high rate because for the simple fact, man, look at what's happening. It's already hard enough farming, okay? That's a very, very strenuous position. Though it's lucrative, but the work you got to put into it, the hours you lose in a day to try to keep up with the world, and all of a sudden somebody come in and tell you got to sell poison, or we going to shut you down or off you. Shit, man, that's depression, man. Okay? That's why it says here, be ye ashamed, O ye husbandmen, and how, O ye vine dressers, for the wheat and for the barley, because the harvest of the field is perished, right? Because shit is fucked up. You go to the store now, you see things on the shelves, but things are inflating, okay? And they're not having the goods, and a lot of the goods that they did have is being replaced with more GMO, okay? Which is killing people off. And it says here, the vine is dried up, and the fig tree languished, and the pomegranate tree, and the palm tree also, and the apple tree, and even all the trees of the field are withered, because joy is withered away from the sons of men, okay? So this is the whole point, man. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is destroying this goddamn place, man. Because verse 15, alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and a destruction from the Almighty. And it is not meat cut off before your eyes. Yea, joy and gladness from the house of our power. Okay, because, hey, man, the mirth is ceasing. Okay, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is delivering a fatal blow to Babylon, man, and Esau, Edom, and you other jakes that choose to follow this wicked system. Okay, because, hey, the time of famine is upon us, man. Like in the book of when Joseph, man, when Pharaoh had the dream, Genesis 41, about the 7 years of famine. Okay, the 7 years of plenty, but the 7 years of famine made the 7 years of plenty look like child's play, man. All right. So one more precept here and I'm gonna shut it down. But this is the book of Genesis 47, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at 11. It says, and Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best land of the land of Ramesses, as Pharaoh had commanded, right? Because in Goshen, remember that we had a good piece of land, man. We had light in our dwellings, okay? And the land of Ramesses was pretty much like one of the capitals, like the major hub that a lot of the goods were being transported in and out. So Jake was living good, man. Okay, Joseph set his brothers up good, okay? But it says Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's house with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of famine. And this is what's happening. America is going to faint by famine, which is going to be a very pivotal judgment to you wicked doers. Because the scripture says better to die of the sword than to perish of famine, because that's a very grievous death. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought, and Joseph bought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money faileth in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, okay, which Canaan will be the land which you call Ham today, or Africa, okay, it says, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail. And they bought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, for the flocks, for the cattle of herds, and all the asses. And he fed them with bread for all the cattle that year. Okay, and that was the whole point. It was a bartering thing, because Joseph knew the beneficiary or the benefits behind livestock. Okay, because with cattle and goods and so forth and livestock, you're able to continue to form a depleted source. So therefore, livestock always was the best form of lucrative. You got your own water systems, your wells and livestock in a farm, you good, man. You shouldn't want for anything because these things reproduce after their kind. All right. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 16, and I'm going to start at verses 21. It says here, behold, victory should be so good, cheap upon earth, that they should think themselves to be in good case. But even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead should be cast out as dung, and there should be no man to comfort them. For the earth should be laid waste, and the cities cast down, and there should be no man left to till the earth, okay, or to sow it. Because there ain't gonna be any jobs out here in a little bit, man. While we all running this rat race, trying to get the best things in life, yeah, right. Sooner or later, we all gonna be somewhere homeless or on the prowl somewhere. But you know what? The men of the Lord, we got faith, and we gonna put our faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh regardless of what happens. So with that, all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Shem Yahweh. And with that, shalom and a ball.